we had a game at the airport. So like my manager, very nice guy, but horrible at handling like conflict with customers. He was too nice. He wasn't good at putting his foot down ever, and would end up just giving them the farm if they asked for it. And so after a while, there was one time where people were asking for a manager in a hectic situation, and I was just like, yeah, that's me. Just lied and then handled it okay. And so from then on at the airport, like when there was a really horrible customer, they would call an audible called pretend manager. And I was pretend manager. And so like I would get calls and I was doing fleet management stuff, and it'd be like, hey, what's up? And he'd be like, fleet manager was like being outside, like organizing what cars go where. It's like after you graduate from finishing the ticket writing, or at least it was at this branch. And he would call out to the booth and be like, hey, Taylor, we got a really rowdy one here on line 2. Can you pretend manager for us? I'd be like, and I loved pretend manager. It was so much fun to be pretend manager.
I like to think you did accents for no reason.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, and it would just be shit like answering the phone. Taylor, manager of the airport. And they'd be like, I was just talking to someone and they are not refunding the $40 that you owe me. And then I would just like make up managerial protocols a lot of the time. Where I'd be like, we have something called the T2 form. You're going to want to dial him back. Make sure you get that. That's called a lost item form. Now you're going to transition that from me to the actual airport security. They know exactly where to file. A lot of this was just buying time for the manager to figure out what it was. So you're going to call them, ask about that, and then you bring us back and make sure you have your, and then just list off a couple, your insurance card number, your just stuff to slow them down, to make it so we can actually find what they lost or get what they need. And I would just send these people on goose chases. And just absolute goose chases to find all these things. And then usually by the time they got back, it'd be like, oh, it's all, you don't need any of that. It's all sorted. It's all. And then other ones, the most fun one of those, there was this like really effeminate, short, fat guy who he came in right into the front and he said, I reserved a Chevy Tahoe and I don't see a Chevy Tahoe. I just walked your lot. He was giving me that head shake and that condescending. I just walked your lot. I reserved a Chevy Tahoe and it is not there. Do I need to go to a competitor? Do I need to call my friend who is a lot higher up here in you at this company? Do I need to do that? Do I need to do it? And I remember doing pretend manager and I was like, sir, you're acting erratic. Have you been drinking? There were other people in line. He's like, the fact you would even ask that says more than enough. I'm definitely ringing him. I'm ringing him. I'm like, sir, as far as we are as a company, I'm sure you know a lot of people who are high up here, and I respect that you've just come in here in a way that I no longer feel secure renting our property to you. I apologize for the inconvenience. If you'd like, I could call you a cab and get you where you need to be. It's just our property and yourself, sir, for your own safety. I don't know if we feel it's the best idea that we give you a vehicle at this time. And like keep it way tamped down so that the comparison between us is extreme, that anyone around is observing that I am the one who's right. And so, oh man, if I could go back there for
Such
a day,
piece of shit. I hate you.
all I would do is be pretend manager.
I just came here to get my Tahoe and it's not here. Sir, are you on any drugs right now? Because you're acting very erratically. And is that a blade you have?
Is that a blade? He's got a knife. He's got a screaming in there.
I don't know about him. I feel like I smell alcohol and pot on him.
I think I smell. Is that plastic explosive? Do you have
I don't smell it.
Explosives?
Let me tell you why, though, he was freaking out about the Tahoe. Because I told him, you only reserved a class of car. You didn't reserve a Tahoe. We're giving you a Suburban or whatever the equivalent was. And he would not take it. He refused. He thought I was lying about going out there. And so he went and walked the lot, which took him way too long to walk the entire fucking airport lot and then come back and get mad. And so it was definitely his fucking fault. He could have just taken the Suburban and left instead of screaming at me in front of.
You should have leaned in close and whispered that to him. You could be leaving with a Suburban. So I'm going to humiliate you in front of all of these people.
Yeah, and I still remember the person who came, and what ended up happening in the end, it was all fine. He ended up calming down, and then actual manager, who I said was the branch, the higher manager,
this is Mr. Hertz himself.
And then, hey, Suddenly, when you tell someone you're not getting a car, suddenly the Suburban seems like a great idea, doesn't it? And he was more than happy to take that Suburban by the time it was done. And literally the next lady in line, or it was maybe a couple after, because there were dozens of people in line as we're having this bout of frustration, were like telling me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're such fucking sheep.
Yeah, don't be sorry. I was actually fucking with him. That went perfectly from my perspective.
Oh, I didn't smell anything. To be honest, I have a Suburban, a Tahoe. I got all kind of shit back there. I just have a little fun.
The secret is I did smell whiskey, but that was me.
Yes. I mean, I'm drunk as shit, and I'm high.
I'm fucking wait. I smelled my own burp, I think.
To be honest, I crashed the Tahoe last night, and that's why it's not available.
I'm going to the funny ones, but for every one of the funny pretend managers, genuinely, there were 20 times that I handled an actual problem way fucking better than my managers, just because I wouldn't get all sheepish or I wouldn't get all like flustered and yell like a couple of them would. So
what's wrong with sheepish though? Like, I know when I had people do customer support at Woodycraft, I had to get people off of that job or even fire a couple because they try to win at customer service. And it's like, no, winning at customer service is when the customer walks away happy. That's how this is done. Yes. You know, if you battle this guy in some sort of argument and you clearly come out on top, great. That doesn't help Woodycraft at all. That sucks.
Yeah. See, the thing was, like, at least in this business, it was like, if you're too sheepish, like some sales or managers people were, like, you would get bullied into renting a car like a Tahoe for $19 a day. And then it's like, we're hemorrhaging money on this. Like, people are getting mad. And so that's like the level of sheepish I'm talking about, is managers letting themselves get absolutely stomped on.
But who cares about the bottom line?
I don't care. I just don't want to get yelled at by the area manager who would come. This fucking weirdo who worked there, the area manager. I remember he was so strict. You had to shave every day. And you
I remember that.
Yeah. And I remember there was one, me and my buddy, we worked at the insurance replacement branch at this point, and it was the redheaded stepchild of the entire area. He never came to our branch because it was a shithole. There weren't enough chairs for all the employees. We had to stand most of the time. We got so bored in the middle of that warehouse.
Chair.
I'm saying we got so bored in the middle of this warehouse, you know, those bays, that I ordered off Amazon a cheap hockey net and some sticks, and we would just play hockey in there sometimes when it was slow. But this guy, me and my buddy Sean, who worked there, both of us were low little underlings, and we had made it 3 weeks without shaving. It was a game for us to like play, you know, chicken and see how long we could go. And so like I'm for weeks now, no fucking tie, sleeves all up, beard, don't fucking care. And then there was one time where I wasn't paying attention, and I was just sitting like doing something on the computer, and then the area manager comes in. He goes, "Well, hey, Taylor." And I was like, "Hello." I've got a full beard, sleeves up, shirt's dirty, no tie.
I'm not Taylor. This is a disguise.
Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I was doing callbacks for overdue cars. And he's like, yeah, are you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, haven't shaved in a while, have you? And this guy was such a passive aggressive fuck. He would never actually call you out. He would just make little office space like, right, we're going to need you to shave that by Monday. If you could do that, that'd be great. And so then I figured, this bitch is never going to get onto me for anything. And so I could just do whatever I want as far as not shaving and rolling up my sleeves and not wearing a tie. And so that's what I did. So it all panned out. Other than that, I was a great employee.
That's a long list of that's.
Yeah. You've been going for 35 minutes. This was a deposition.
Hey, pretend manager was a good bit, and I'm never backing down from pretend manager. And it was mostly helpful.
I think helpful for you passing the time, but as far as fuck.
Okay. When you worked your 60-hour plus a week, how many hours did you work?
I never really counted like the driving time as working that much because that was so easy. But other than that, like you're fucking standing, typing tickets and doing back stuff. the entire time you're doing shit. And then like managers pass stuff off, and so they'll be like, hey, we got and then sometimes, oh, it was fun when you got to do this. They'd be like, all right, we got a red minivan. I had to do this a couple times. There was this dirt poor trailer park in rural Idaho, and they were like, all right, well, it's been 4 weeks since we've seen this Chevy. Who wants to go out and take a look? Who wants to go drive the trailer park and ask around, see if they know where it is? And I would always be like, yes, this is so cool. I want to do that. And so I'd drive around in a trailer park, and like if anyone was standing, I'd be like, hey, have you seen a red, really new looking van recently? And like it was like sleuthing. I never actually found any, but it was fun.
I didn't expect it to be such hard work. My impression was that planes roll in, you sprint for 15 minutes, and then wait an hour. But I guess not.
It was like they would have you show short staffed. It'd be like, all right, planes coming in. You're going to be busy for 40 minutes writing those. And then as soon as you're done, you bust your ass down to the wash bay and you start washing cars. And so I've washed, even wearing your suit, I washed thousands of cars.
I didn't know the people at the registers wash cars when I wasn't
such
there.
Bullshit.
Yeah, forced to wash the cars because the car preps down there don't give a shit. They never see the customer, and so like they'll do a half-ass job, and then
they
like
weren't
you'll
caring like you were.
I didn't want to get yelled at by the customers and stuff, and I did. To be fair, every branch I worked at, their like score of customer satisfaction, the time I joined to the time I ended went up significantly. So I did fucking help, and I did work hard at those jobs. I really did, because I would. You've been in that situation where you feel like enough people aren't busting their ass that it motivates you to bust ass, where it's like, what am I, like one of these people? Like one of these lazy fuckers? No, I'm at work. I'm going to fucking work. And so, but those days would come and go. Some days you get berated by enough people at 11 a.m. You're like, I'm just going to go lose myself at the Mexican bistro upstairs for a while and hope nobody asks for me.
It takes me 35 minutes to poop. Nothing I can do about it. I'll be back.
Oh,
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'd just go out in the parking lot and fall asleep in a Suburban for an hour or so.
There was a guy that got fired because he did it every day for like a month.
I did it a lot. You know, I had a hard time getting my sleep in at night. We were always partying. We'd be up until 3 a.m. and then have to be at the work at like 9 or I don't know, maybe 8:30. So around 11 a.m., I just go out in the lot and find something comfy to get in and take a little nap.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't get away with doing nothing because they would keep like a tally of how many tickets or contracts you'd written that month. But I even convinced my manager at one point. He's like, Taylor, your sales are terrible. Are you even asking to sell insurance anymore? And I told him, this is the one who asked me to do pretend manager all the time. I was like, no, I'm not asking anymore. And he's like, you have to at least ask, man. And I was like, let me put it to you this way. Our customer satisfaction has skyrocketed. Why? Because we're moving so much faster out of here. So you got 4 people working tickets trying to sell, and they're writing 200 to 400 tickets a month. Then you got me banging them the fuck out over here. You got insurance, hell yeah. And I've got the line moving. I'm writing 1,000 a month, just tearing through this shit. And so I didn't think he would buy that, but he did. So I didn't have to try selling anymore after that. But I helped with customer satisfaction. So don't work at a rental car place unless you're just out of college or you luck out, because it sucks. It's no fun.
Yeah, you're better off stealing.
Just steal the rental cars.
Just wait for a good loot, right? They seem to happen. Ferguson was what, 2008?
14.
Okay, 2014. Was that it? It wasn't like closer to the election? Maybe I'm crazy. So, every 5-6 years, free shit. You just go get it.
You just get it. So, yeah, I got a lot more stories. That's enough for now.
That's the message of this PKA. Take what you want.
Yeah.
Yes. Take what you want.